Hello. So, my name is Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document my journey as I become the person who I am. Now, today was a good day. It was an eventful day, but also uneventful. So we'll start off with the stats. Is it still recording? Yes, it is. 180 dials, only one book demo. However, this one book demo was with a guy who, it was someone who spoke as though they would test with the top tier to get an idea, like they had a team. So it was like a big sort of client. So that was exciting because you don't normally come across but that. But he was someone who the reason I wanted to bring it up was partway through the call, like he goes like I don't know how you have gotten me to stay on this call this long. The call was like 20 minutes long, which is a cold call. That's long for a cold call. But then, so what I was thinking is going I think the opener is effective because of that give me 30 seconds and then decide kind of idea, because if they agree to it, then they've agreed to the situation that we find ourselves in, rather than me wrestling the whole time to be on the phone, which if you've gotten multiple calls like that, as soon as you get any indication that it is one of those types of calls, you will hang up immediately. I also realized that it's a good sort of, I guess, hustler litmus test, meaning if they're like a hard worker making like 100 calls a day, really doing their shit, when they hear something like that, it reminds them of themselves, not reminds them of themselves, more like reminds them of a time when they were doing that, if they're not doing that every single day right now. So then there's a degree of, not respect, but it's like okay, I appreciate your approach and can acknowledge that this is a grind. I will let you have your 30 seconds. Because again, it gives them the option to hang up now or hear what I have to say and then decide to end the call, which I stick to, because if you don't have the capacity, you're not the ideal client profile, what's the point in me convincing you to book a demo with it? There's no point. Now, in the afternoon, because manager sent us a new set of contacts, there were a couple times where people would hang up, like immediately when I said, you can hang up, and normally it's like every 1 out of 7, and when I say 1 out of 7, I think it's more like technically it's 86% of the time they stay on the call, but that normally, I don't, there's maybe 1 a day, if that. That's kind of like the subjective feeling I had. Whereas today in the morning and early afternoon, there was 3 in a row, not 3 in a row, but 3 within the same hour. Which then I got frustrated going oh fuck, it's fucking with the stats now. Now I'm down at 85% because I'm competitive. But then so I was okay, I was losing hope in it and switched back to the line that is given in the script for Planswell, which is just like a generic kind of opener, except it ends the sentence with "How have you been?" rather than "How are you?" Because according to, there was something that I saw. It's not HubSpot. It's not Gong.io. It doesn't matter very much, but that "how have you been" is a more useful phrase than "how are you." But so I started using that to see going oh, should I switch back to this? And I was pleasantly reminded of the reason why I had looked into and started using that cold call line, because I started getting objections right from the beginning. They'd send me an email. I don't have time right now. I have a meeting in the next 3 minutes, kind of thing. That all happened, as well as the fact that some people did hang up when I said the first line, or the follow-up question, which is figuring out if they're the follow-up question to that. They would then hang up or then realize that it was a cold call and then get rid of me. So then I felt relaxed, because it was maybe it's just this chunk of people, maybe it's the time of day, but more importantly, it's not something fundamentally wrong with the line that I'm using, because if that were the case, then when I substitute a different line, then something would change, but the pattern didn't change. It just stayed the same in a different sort of form, but the result was ultimately the same. So then it was I think it's I'm getting a little too obsessed with tracking the stats. Because again, the difference between 85 and 86% is 1 out of 6.5 calls and 1 out of 7 point something calls, which really isn't, like, the thing to focus on is the vast majority of the time people stay on the call, and the fact that people will laugh, and the fact that people who have done this thing will respect and appreciate the line. And those are the people I'm trying to talk to, not everybody who picks up the phone. I should assume and expect that most people don't want to take the call, and that's okay because most people don't have the problem that we solve. That's the point. That was the other thing. The guy this morning, he was saying, like, he was saying how it's crazy how the universe works, because this was the exact problem that he's trying to figure out, and I just called at the right time, which then makes me go like, okay, so that's the reason why you make the cold calls. Is it's not to convince somebody. It is to find out whether or not they, at the moment that they pick up the phone and answer it and speak to you, have the problem that we solve and want to solve it. Like that is it. Most of the time you're not going to hit them at the right time, but sometimes you will, and sometimes when you do hit them at the right time, you will hit it big depending on who you're talking to. So that's that. Also, I've started going to bed consistently on time, which is interesting because that makes me actually wake up naturally either at 6 or before 6, but then the sleep in doesn't feel like I'm exhausted, I need to sleep in more. The sleep in is more of a, I don't need to get up and I'm enjoying this dream and should continue with it and then do, it's just a different sort of vibe. Did 3 sets of 30 push-ups, which I've done the past 3 days, and I'm going to continue that trend. I'm feeling better. Discovered the snack that I was looking for. I know that I was looking for a snack, like something like not late night snack, but something that isn't just like candy or requires any sort of cooking process. Like ramen's good, except then you have to boil water, wait, and do all that. Popcorn's good, except then you get the greasy fingers. Any sort of pasta still requires a step. So what I found was it's kale leaves and kale stems, cucumber slices, but that one's a little tricky because I actually have to cut them, which again sounds so lazy, but it's just like I want to open the fridge and just grab the thing. But it's tzatziki dip with a bunch of stuff. Apparently it's healthy for you, and yeah. I haven't left my apartment today, and normally when I make these videos I make them at the Peat Bog or at Walmart, but I don't need to go to Walmart. But I think I'm still just gonna go for a drive where, I don't know, but I think this weekend as well I'm gonna try to, I don't want to say because then I never end up doing it, I'm gonna climb up Mount Orford, go for a cool fun hike, something to do. We'll see. Anyways, that's all I have to say for right now, and feeling good, feeling great. Have a good day.